After a 13-year wait between the first and second film, we only had to wait 3 years for the third movie. Does Avatar Fire and Ash live up to the spectacle of the first two movies, or is this a disappointing entry? Let's discuss this and more on the Late Night Movie Podcast. Welcome back to the Late Night Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Welchy, and joining me tonight, as always, is Mr. Pop Figures himself, Andy.
Yeah, hello guys. Happy to be back. Excited to talk about Avatar and have a sort of feeling the direction this one's gonna go, just because obviously me and Steve want to watch it together. I have seen your score on Letterboxd Welchy. But yeah, I think you're gonna be entertained with this episode.
And and also joining us is the 2025 movie quiz champion, Stephen.
Yes,
Damn
hello
it.
everybody, and lovely festivities to everyone because we're a few days away from Christmas. So have Christmas to everyone listening. And yeah, I am very, very excited to be reviewing Avatar 3. I just think it's going to be a very, very good one, and I'm just going to leave that there for now.
Before we do go any further, I do want to apologize to anyone listening about my voice. My cough has come back. It never fully left. It's come back. It's worse than it was before. I'm trying to talk as much as I can without it killing me. We'll see how it goes. You'll hear myself muting myself a lot, and probably letting Andy and Stephen do a lot of talking. I can feel it going already. Like there. But we are here to talk about Avatar Fire and Ash, which released on Friday the 19th of December. We're recording this on Sunday the 21st, and this will go up on Monday the 22nd, so pretty quick turnaround for us. Before we go into the specifics and whatnot, what did you think of the the Avengers trailer? We've got to talk about the Avengers trailer.
Yeah, obviously I knew straight away that that was Steve Rogers. I'm guessing you got the same one because obviously they're saying there's meant
They're
to be four
saying
different
there's
ones over
loads.
the
I
next
don't
four
think there
weeks,
is. I
but
think it's going to be staggered, yeah.
yeah, I did see it leaked before I saw it
Yes.
anyway,
So
but
did I.
I wasn't sure if it was real or not.
Same,
But
yeah.
yeah, it just confirmed that it was real. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about it, but
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
a
obviously,
bit
Stephen, I'll let you
50-50.
talk, but as a Marvel fan, I was excited by it. And then I come out and see online that people are a bit mixed about it because obviously the
Okay.
whole
Yeah,
thing is that he's meant to be dead. I don't want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
spoil, I
yeah,
guess. I've kind of spoiled it now, but and he's back, which kind of makes you
yeah,
think, okay, so in Marvel now, if someone died, well, not actually, he wasn't supposed to be dead. That's actually technically wrong.
it's
Um,
sort of
he was
the
supposed to have
timelines, isn't it?
gone. Yeah, he was supposed to be gone.
Yeah,
Um, and now it just means, okay, so when someone leaves or dies, that doesn't mean anything anymore.
no,
yeah,
yeah, that's it takes away from that because you want to know when someone dies, and it's the whole thing with Robert Downey Jr. Even though potentially he's playing a different character, and there might be other theories to what he's actually going to be doing in the film, but the fact that he's meant to be dead and no longer part of it, it's like yeah, it just takes away from those whole plot points and like those parts that were meant to be meaningful have like sort of lose their meaning a little bit. So I'm a bit 50-50 about it.
I,
Obviously, I like Captain America and he's a very exciting character, so I'm happy on that side of things, but they also need to try and let other characters like bloom a little bit and then make a new sort of adventures team. But yeah.
I suppose it kind of is based on how they're going to go with it. Obviously, for me, and now I've got 12 months to sort of catch up on the really important Marvel movies that I've not seen. I was aware that he is meant to be dead, and I completely understand the point of that. If that is the case, then the jeopardy goes because then someone who dies doesn't really matter because they could just come back. What I think was quite cool is at the end of the trailer, you had the countdown.
Yeah.
So exactly 1 year from now, we'll be at Avengers Doomsday. I am I didn't think it was going to be a December release. I actually thought it was going to be like a summer sort of
They said it was
July,
December
August.
before already.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it came up though 12 months from, I thought it
Yeah,
was
they
from the date.
no, they'd already announced the release date for it
Yeah.
before.
Oh,
That wasn't the first
oh,
time
okay.
we knew the release
What was,
date. We knew
what was
that.
the counter then when it said 12 months, 12
That's how
hours?
That's
that's how
December.
long it is.
Yeah. That's how long it
Yeah,
is to
that's
the
how long it
next,
is.
to Doomsday, yeah.
But we already knew the release date.
We already knew that.
Oh, I see. So that counter is just not how long it is till it comes out, it's how long until the actual Doomsday is what I'm trying to say.
No,
Because
that's
No,
how
it's
it's
that's till the
December
film.
now. It comes out next December.
Sorry, you mean you thought the events would happen in the summer?
I thought it was been. I must have forgot about the release date. What I'm trying to say is, I thought it was a summer release. I
Oh, no.
didn't realize they were released in December. Sorry. Yeah, I was about to say, what guys? 12 months from now is not July. Yeah, I in my head thought it was going to be like a July August release,
No,
and it must
it
have been
was
something that
initially.
we'd already spoken.
Initially,
It
it
got
was. It
delayed.
got
It did
delayed.
get delayed. Yeah.
So I'm just forgot about the
Yeah.
delay. So, but I thought that was quite cool. And I think the other sort of point to state is, I don't know if the trailers were the same for you, Welchy, but I said to Andrew, I was like, every single trailer that we saw before Avatar was an absolute banger.
I'm pissed
'Cause
off,
we
guys.
got
I'm really fucking pissed off.
What?
what of Project Hail Mary?
Oh, because you saw the thing. Yeah. I wanted to
I was
mention
trying
that,
not to
actually,
see
'cause-
it. So I saw Ryan
Yeah,
Gosling's face, and I was
they-
like, "Oh shit, what do I do?" Like, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Do I hide my eyes?" And I was thinking, but I'm gonna hear things. And I thought, you know what? I
You're
fucked
gonna
it.
have to bite the
I might
bullet.
as well watch it. And I
It's
watched it.
that was a new trailer they showed as well. So in the
Yeah.
initial trailer, you don't see
The full thing.
the whole creature thing,
Yeah.
because obviously I've said to you, like, oh, it would be interesting to see what that actually looks like, because you just sort of see the hand. But yeah, obviously they showed the whole thing, and I'm still just as confused as ever to what the fuck that is.
And also, I don't know if it was the same trailer for the Odyssey, but it felt like there was a couple of new stuff that I hadn't seen.
Odyssey was brand
it was
new.
definitely different stuff.
So
Yeah,
I think they did new trailers for all of the massive
And
hitters
you
in
would, wouldn't you?
2026.
Avatar's the biggest film financially
Yeah.
this year. It's gonna. I imagine it's gonna be the biggest selling film.
yeah. But I feel like when they start doing more trailers, it just gives so much more away. So like with Project Hail Mary,
Yeah.
I was sort of going into that a bit more blind.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they've released this new trailer, and now I sort of know the whole like plot of the film and like details I don't feel I should have.
I don't
feel
think
I
they
need
should
it
have
right
done it.
now.
I get why they do it because
Yeah.
they need bums in seats. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they would have had that with the first trailer. They didn't need to show.
I think so.
Like,
Or
I
they
feel
can
like they
show other things.
Yeah.
The
Because that was
only
part of the thing I was curious about. Is like, what is this thing? And I've seen it
The
now.
only-
It's some weird motherfucker.
the only caveat to it I find is because I go to cinema quite a lot. Like sometimes I'm switching off from trailers, like I'm watching it on my phone. Obviously, I saw that trailer, but by the time I actually go to see Project Hail Mary, hopefully some of the bits that were in the trailer I'll forget about. And there's still loads of stuff that I still don't really have any idea what's going on. But
I will say
yourself,
there's
Welchy,
a lot to you don't see.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's loads of
But
stuff
as-
that happens in the,
Yeah,
film,
yeah.
the book, but I still don't know what
as
they're going to cut some bits out. Obviously,
yeah. But the only way around that was while that was on to probably go outside. Really,
Yeah.
that'd be the only way sort of to do it. And you never know what trailer that trailer's probably going to hit again between now and when it releases.
Yeah.
So
what I will
it's,
say is
yeah.
what I had in a vision of my mind of the thing. I don't want to say much more
Yeah.
to you guys.
Yeah.
Wasn't that far away. So I'm not like I didn't watch it and be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not watching this shit because that's
Yeah.
not.
But-
It's more I just didn't want to see it. That's what I mean. Like, I'm
Yeah.
happy with how it looks, but I didn't want to
Yeah,
know
but
that.
They sort of explained what it is in the trailer, though. They said it's an alien and their planet is also dying,
Yeah.
and they're trying to figure out a way. And
It's
they
so
say all
annoying.
of that in the trailer,
It's
and
so annoying.
I didn't want to know that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so cool in the book when you find all that out. It's like
It just
Apologies to anyone that's like purposely skipped the trailer. We've just sort of-
yeah. Sorry about
Yeah,
that, guys.
but
I do
it
think
is a
it plays
trailer,
into
though. Yeah.
it plays into that same thing that I always say, that like if you look at something like Companion at the start of this year, the first trailer we had no idea what was going on. The second trailer gave us a bit more of an inkling, but there was still stuff in there that was a bit of a surprise. I love trailers that the less you see the better. There was another trailer that I can't remember what it was, but I turned to you and I said that's just a scope of like so much more that's
Yeah.
going on in the film.
It can go
and I
both
love
ways,
trailers like
though.
that. Yeah.
And like in reverse, the trailer that I wish they showed more in was Mickey 17, where I wish I knew what the second half of the film was about, because then that potentially would have meant I wouldn't have went and watched it, because potentially it would have looked crap. So yeah, it can work both ways, where either one, they show too much, or two, they don't show enough, and you can be disappointed by the film because you didn't know what half of it was about.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, the Odyssey looked good, but we are here to talk about
Oh,
Avatar. I'm going to try and talk through the blurb on Letterboxd, but I might have to pause in between. So, Avatar: Fire and Ash, directed by Jim Cameron, whatever you want to call him. God, I can't barely talk. And the Letterboxd description is this: the world of Pandora will change forever. In the wake of the devastating war against the RDA and the loss of their eldest son. Massive spoiler for the last film. I apologize if you haven't seen The Way of Water. Jake Sully and Neytiri. That's how I say it, Neytiri.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Neytiri, yeah.
Neytiri face a new threat on Pandora, the Ash People, a violent and power-hungry Na'vi tribe led by the ruthless Varang. Jake's family must fight for their survival and the future of Pandora. Sorry, in a conflict that pushes them to their emotional and physical limits, like my throat.
Just for us, it's the former Manchester United defender that is the leader of the Ash tribe, Varane.
Varang. It's Varang with a
Almost.
G on the
No.
end, but yes, very close.
Yeah, I'm gonna now think of it. Varane's left football now is fighting as the leader of the Ash people in Avatar.
Obviously, returning actors Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver,
Yeah.
Stephen Lang, and then there's a load more that I'm not going to read through because I can barely talk. Budget. I'm not going to ask you to because it's widely known. 400 million.
Mad.
Caveats to that is obviously they film these two films together, and what they typically do with this is they backload the budget, so they put a little bit less in the front one, a bit more in the second one. First was 300, second was 400. So you could argue they're 50 each, but the way they classified it is it's 400.
Yeah.
Box office. I didn't write this one down because I wanted to go in not knowing.
With the okay. I'm guessing it's been
Any
400
guesses?
probably. Well, it's only first weekend though, isn't it?
The weekend.
Like 300 million, or was that me being way too high?
I'm gonna go 150.
345.
Oh, okay, so that's close.
Already? Wow.
So and that probably doesn't include today because I don't know if it refreshes.
Yeah.
Like
so from when it was released on Friday, it's nearly grossed 400 million.
Yes.
Or like 50. Wow.
Oh, this will.
Yeah.
It will at least blow $1 billion. I actually.
Oh yeah.
Not for review reasons. I just think less people are going to go and see this one. So I don't think it's going to quite reach the 2 billion mark.
No.
I think it will fall just short, personally. Unless I'm completely wrong. On Tuesday, we could get an article or something that says it's already done 700 million, and we're all like, okay, fucking, it's going to just blow everything out of the water. Just off the topic, Zootopia broke the 1 billion bear mark.
It did, yep.
Yeah.
And it serves to.
And I'm looking forward to seeing that before the end of the year.
So currently, Avatar is 17th. Already, it's just behind Sinners.
Wow.
Like just behind.
That's just
in 2 days.
2 days.
And that's in 2 days. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah. So it's going to blow past the likes of Wicked for Good, which is not even reached 500 million yet. I know it's still in cinemas, but it's not going to quite reach 500.
It's gonna be up there as like one of the movies like in the year in terms of box office success. That's just
I think it'll be. I don't think it'll reach These Are Two, the Chinese film.
Top like 3, top 5.
Easily top 4. Minecraft movie didn't reach $1 billion.
No.
So I think it'll be behind These Are, ahead of Zootopia. I think it'll be second.
Yeah.
I guess Zootopia's still got time to go, so who knows?
Also, Fox and Searchlight are really clever. Like, it's a great time to always release. Way of Water came out. I think all 3 of them actually came out in December. They've always had a December release, and that's just because Christmas period. Like, you think about Boxing Day, lots of people go to cinema. I mean, I'm going to see The Housemaid on Boxing Day, but so many people will be flocking on Boxing Day to see an Avatar for sure. So that is just gonna go up and up and up.
I think they're clever to always do it in December because you then start to associate Avatar with this kind of time.
Yeah, you do.
So you see the advert commentary and people are like, we did this 3 years ago at Christmas. Let's do it again. You know, like, I'm not saying it's not going to do very well. It's going to do very well. I just think it's going to be the 3rd best in terms of numbers, not reviews.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay.
Rotten Tomato score 67, which we're going to talk about in the next podcast.
Crazy.
I'm fucking furious about it. But audience score 91.
Yeah, respectful.
Sorry. Letterboxd score 3.7, which is 1 point above Way of Water, which is 3.6.
Okay.
And I think the first one was 3.9, so they're all very close.
Around that mark.
Around about the 3 point something mark. Yeah.
That's it for stats and figures. I actually watched this one first before you two for the first time. I think most films you watch
about
first.
A couple of hours.
I went to a 8:30 screening. God, I can barely talk. And got out at. I left my seat at 12:05.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I
you,
was getting quarter two.
So there was the biggest screen in my view cinema that they have, which is obvious for Avatar. And when I booked it, I don't like doing this, but I just feel awkward sitting on my own in the middle when I know it's going to be busy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I hate it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hate when I know it's quiet. I'll sit wherever I want. I'll book
Yeah.
the middle seat. But when I know it's a massive screening, it's going to be busy of people. I sit to the side. I know it's not the ideal
Yeah.
seat, but I'm just like, I feel safer there.
More comfortable. Yeah.
I normally, if I'm on my own, will sit at the back, either in the mid part of the back row or either at one end. There are some seats like in my local one, so the one that me and Andy go to. There's another one that's closer to me, and normally they've got comfy seats that are on like the mid row, but like to the end. But normally at a late screening, again,
It's
I normally
empty
just
anyway.
sit wherever I
Yeah.
want. Yeah, because there's hardly
I
anyone
think
there.
my screen was probably the busiest because it's 8:30. It's a good time.
Yeah, peak time.
Yeah.
Friday night, yeah.
So it was fucking busy. Like it
Was-
was the busiest
was-
I've had all year.
You came out at 12:05, so we still had an hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah, because yours was 10:30, was it, or 10?
10.
It's 10.
10.
Yeah, 10.
It was half an hour of adverts.
so-
I saw it. My film started at 9 o'clock.
So we
yeah.
walked out at 1:45 or about maybe 1:48. I remember checking my phone.
Mhm.
So yeah, I did remember at one point thinking, "Cool, this has been going on for a while," and then still having like 2 hours left of the movie. So yeah, and then getting out. That was the latest I've ever got out of the cinema. Like 10
Yeah,
to
me
2.
too.
It was
Yeah.
wild.
I did. Mine wasn't the last booking. I know that I could have gone to a later one, but I didn't want to go out as late as you two did, obviously. What was I gonna, oh, there was like a 4-year-old in my screening, and
Really?
guess where they
4-year-old?
sat? 2 seats away from me.
Nick, right next to you.
So
Did they like
Just
sit still or like get up and about?
to be
that
fair
length
to the
of time?
kid, Angel, like I barely noticed her or him. I don't. I couldn't see. It was dark. But I sat on my own for a while on the side, and I could see this family 4 coming up, and I was like, okay, don't come up here. Don't come up here. They come up to my row. I was like, okay, that's fine. Go to the other end. They sat next to me. I was like, oh.
Right next to you. Oh my
And they
god.
bought their own food, which is like it stunk. It was like this chicken they'd cooked at home. They
Oh,
opened the
yeah.
container. Oof, I was like, oh my god.
No.
This is before the film started. It wasn't like they turned up late and it ruined or anything. It was all before.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I was like, this is I've got a bad feeling that they're gonna wind me up. I've got a bad feeling.
Yeah.
And they didn't. I have to say they didn't. But the guy next to me
You
did fall
get
asleep.
sense.
The dad fell asleep. At least
Your
once.
dad.
The dad.
Did you say? Oh, their dad. I thought you said your dad.
No, the dad fell asleep.
He wasn't a snorer, was he?
He wasn't, but there was a point
Oh.
where like I just looked, and I could tell he was like this. So,
Yeah.
he was gone. But his daughter
I-
or son was fine, so I can't complain. But you know,
I-
with that panic of like,
Yeah,
first of
yeah,
all,
yeah.
this is a
The only-
12.
The only thing I wouldn't, I know that.
Yeah, that's
so,
what I was thinking. The age rating. When you said they're 4, like you're guessing they're 4.
Well, guess it.
age
5,
rating on this
maybe.
film. Yeah.
I'm obviously really nerdy when it comes to like age ratings. I like as a kid did loads of because I wanted to actually one of the jobs that I wanted to do would be a film examiner for the British Board of Film Classification. So I like did as much research and then realised that you'd have to train up and down to Soho every day. I was like, I ain't doing that. But 12A means that anyone 12 and over can watch it. Under 12s can watch it if accompanied by an adult. They give a
Yeah.
guidance that 4 and over, but I still wouldn't think that that is suitable for a 4-year-old to watch Avatar for 2 reasons. One, there is stuff in there that I think could potentially scare a 4-year-old when we
Yes.
get to the battle sequences in Pandora and some of the enemies, but it's just too long. I don't
That's
think
my
it's fair
thing.
for,
I would not take my
for
daughter
a
to
4-year-old
this.
to sit there for 3 hours, like 20. You're looking at like nearly 4 hours. That's a hell of a
Yeah.
long time.
I
to
feel
stay
like the
occupied.
parents wanted to watch it. They couldn't get a babysitter. They thought, fuck
Yeah,
it, we're
they
taking the
couldn't.
kids. Which
This,
fair
this
enough.
is what
but I wouldn't do that.
when a bit of history here. When the 12A launched with what was the first film? I think it was Spider-Man. A lot of parents actually admitted that they used that as a babysitting service. That they just were like, we want to go watch this film. We're just going to plug our kid
Yeah.
down. So like kids watched King Kong, and I think it might have been Lord of the Rings, and they started crying because it got really scary. And then people were complaining, and they were like, well, why did you bring your 4-year-old
To a 12
to
screen. Yeah.
watch like Lord of the Rings or King Kong? And there's like another movie where there's a car crash sequence in it. I can't remember the name of it, but a person flies through the windscreen, and one parent brought their 3-year-old to that, and even the person on the thing was saying this might not be suitable for your child, and she was like, don't you tell me how to parent my child. And guess what? She
Yeah.
cried and ruined the entire experience for everyone. So it is something that when I've got kids one day, I would never, I would
Nope.
say like from about 8 upwards
I don't think
for
Avatar's the
those kind of
worst
films.
film. Like there are definitely worse
No,
12As, but it's more the
it's
length
just,
on this one. It's
it's just the
ridiculous.
length.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But anyway, we're 20 minutes in and we've not given our thoughts yet, so let's go into it. I need a break from talking. I'm going to let Andy start. What did you
Oh,
think of Avatar, Fire and Ash?
okay. So the reason I said before, Welchy, that you might find this one a bit entertaining is because, and we mentioned it with the time that we went in around 10 o'clock. We didn't get out until 1:45, and
Wait a
I
second.
said to
You didn't fucking fall asleep.
I was falling asleep watching this. I couldn't work out if it was when you was talking about dad falling asleep. I was like
Oh
trying so
no, I
hard
had
to
to stop
stay, but
myself,
I
right?
wanted to wait.
And
Um, but
can I just
yeah,
quickly interject here because it's honestly like hilarious. So like I didn't fall asleep. I did watch it. I'll give my thoughts after what Andy says, right? But we're like an hour and a half in. I lean over and I literally see this would be great for the video listeners. Andy's sitting like this. He's going.
No, the
So I
head
tap him.
drop. Yeah, yeah.
I go, Andy, you're falling asleep, and he's like, all right, I'm there. And then another 20 minutes pass. I look over, and he's falling asleep again. So I was like, Joe, what? You're on your own now, right? I can't keep doing that. But then made it worse. I had a girl to my right. Okay, so we were recliner chairs that go back, and I've never had anyone next to me who literally
oh,
moved over to the left, then moved over to the right, then to the left, to the right. At one
yeah,
point, I
she's
thought
been
she was
moving
like
so
huddling
much.
up to me. I don't know if I think she started falling asleep and then woke up. But I put my arm there. I was drinking the tea, and I felt like, and I was like, "Fuck is that?" It's like literally, she was almost like on my actual chair. So
That
I
was
had
so
two people like falling asleep. I'm just going, "What is going on here?" But yeah,
funny.
Andy did fall asleep at multiple
Yeah,
points throughout the film.
yeah, I was struggling, and I messaged Stephen like during the day or whatever, or like after I got home from work. I was like, just confirming times that he was picking me up and stuff. I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna have a nap. And I tried napping, and I couldn't sleep at all. I couldn't nap. When you just can't sleep at night or like
Yeah,
during the day, whatever. So I was like, okay, I felt fine, sort of going into film. I had my energy drink, and there's been a couple of films I've gone to watch, and I can't name them, but they've just been I've been so tired that I've sort of done that whole dozed off, woke myself up by doing that, and then all of a sudden being like fine for the rest of the
Yeah,
film because I give myself that boost, I
yeah.
guess. But for Avatar, I don't know if I was just finding the film boring and too long and repetitive because I did feel like every time I woke up I was on the same bit. I was like, what the fuck's going on? But yeah, no, I did find it painful. I don't feel like the thing is like I feel like there's quite a lot of it that I still saw because I was sort of in and like constantly in and out of sleep. I wasn't like asleep for like 5-10 minutes and then like waking up. I was like literally eyes shut open
yeah,
and like just kept doing that throughout
Drifting
the whole,
basically. Yeah,
yeah, like for the whole 4 hours. Because I even noticed the girl on sitting next to Stephen doing what she was doing, moving around like left to right and left to right. I was like, fucking hell, you're gonna sit still. Like I'm falling asleep and you're still pissing me off. Um,
yeah.
so
It
that
was
was
not
quite
great.
entertaining. Yeah.
But
So I can pretty say more about that than the film. But
the other funny bit is that when I said I checked my phone only once in the
mm,
film. Can't remember why. I don't know if there was a bit that I was like thinking cool, we've been here for a while. Oh no, that was it. I saw Andy starting to drift off again. So I thought I'll just
yeah,
check my
I
phone. And then
saw
his eyes
Stephen check
open
this.
and it was like 10 to 12. So we still had like another
Yeah,
2 hours. I'm thinking, oh my god, Andy, you're in trouble here. If you're already starting to
yeah,
drift off now, we're not even like
I
a third of the way through.
yeah, and I saw Stephen check his phone, and I saw the time pop up in his phone. I went, "Fuck!" I went, "Fucking hell." I was like, "It's over 12 o'clock. Yeah, I know when we're out of this film. Like, I'm not making it through." And I was like, just waiting for my energy drink to like kick in and be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
just get me through the end of it." But yeah, so I was falling asleep throughout most of it. So I don't feel like I'd give like a truly honest review, but based on what I did see and what I do think. I do feel like this one was probably the one that felt like the longest to me. The other two I feel are like the perfect length, and I never like sat there watching the film thinking, "Oh fucking hell, we're gonna get into some action now, like something gonna happen." Always felt there was the right length. I enjoyed them. I never walked out of the cinema, or if I was watching at home, I never thought, "Wow, that was like way too long. They could have cut that down." I'm gonna say I feel like they could have made this one a bit shorter, or it definitely felt long to me in certain parts. Um, I'll start with the main positive. I think the villain was really good. The new Ash
Varang,
person.
yeah.
Yeah, I liked their intro when they're sort of obviously getting escorted somewhere. They sort of join the ship people. I'm not going to remember the names and all the different tribes, but they sort of get on the flying ships, and then all of a sudden the Ash people attack them, shooting fire at their ships and stuff. So I thought that whole scene was pretty cool, and the introduction to them felt like they made those Ash people look more scary, I guess, than other tribes. So that was really good. The performances from the other characters that we've seen before, again, were really good. From Jake and yeah,
Zoe
the
Saldana.
one thing that did, the one thing that made me laugh, Welchy, especially after we spoke about it. I can't remember if it was on the podcast or off air.
Like, bro.
But yeah, and they say that about 10 times in the first two sentences. I was just in creases, and yes, I noticed that just because we spoke about it. So they definitely
Oh,
do
what did they
say
say?
bro,
Oh,
bro.
bro. Oh,
Yeah, they
yeah,
say
yeah,
bro so many
yeah.
times in Avatar. And because we had that conversation about it, it was like so more noticeable. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, fucking hell.
I also think they set a world record for the amount of times that they said the word shit in the film. Like, because obviously it being a 12, I was like, there's not a limit. Like, you could use it
I
as many
didn't
times
notice
you
that.
want,
I
but
didn't notice that, but
yeah,
it,
that
probably because it felt right to me. But
it was
bro, I
mainly,
heard
it's
it every
Yeah.
time
mainly,
they said it. I was like, ah,
I really only because I heard somebody like one of the other reviewers that I watched his review because he hates Absol Passion, so watching his review of it is funny because he just gets so angry about the whole franchise. But yeah, he kind of made that point, and then it was Spider's character that every time we go, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and I was like, oh wait, okay, yeah, they do say it quite a fair bit. I didn't actually notice the pro. I bet now I'm not gonna not
yeah.
think about that.
Yeah.
So
I was
Andy, for you, Varang is
yeah.
played by Una Chaplin,
Oh, really?
and she's
Okay,
in
that's
Game of
cool.
Thrones apparently.
Oh, does it say who she plays? Is it like Rafe or something like that?
Talisa McGear,
Talisa who?
McGear, love interest of Rob
No.
Stark, Rob Stark's wife or fiance, whatever.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, she doesn't make it past season 3.
Spoiler.
Whoa, spoiler!
If you haven't seen Game of Thrones,
Is that the
especially
Red
the Red
Wedding?
Wedding by now. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I've seen that bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
Then
I
yeah,
got up to when she was like, fuck this.
she dies in the Red Wedding. Yeah, the opening scene to Avatar as well confused me a bit, and obviously it's not going to be a spoiler because you just said it with the blurb anyway. But
What,
it
this
obviously
one?
starts off with
This well, how did it confuse you?
no, because like I don't know if because it starts off with like him with his brother,
Yeah.
and he's like dead. So obviously, and that's not a spoiler because you just said it in the blurb, or
And
like
he's
you
like
said
dead.
Huh?
No. Yes, but
Okay.
did you not just think? Okay,
No,
it's been 3
I
years
haven't
since
seen-
you watched it, I guess. So.
Yeah, so that's like one thing me and Stephen mentioned. I said I
Yeah.
wonder if Welch's had a better experience because he's only just watched Where the Water, and I wonder
Yeah.
if this matches up well with that, watching them close together. Because there were parts where I was thinking like, oh, fucking hell, I don't remember what happened in the first one. Like to begin with, I was like, when they first introduced Spider, I was like thinking, who the hell's Spider again? Obviously, like as the film went on, I realised and remembered certain parts from Where the Water. So I definitely said in my head, oh, I should have watched the second one again before going in to watch this because there were clear parts I'd forgot. And because I've seen the first one so many times, all the characters from the first one who sort of continued over to the second one, I remember quite well. But all the characters from the second film that got introduced in the second film, especially the people from the sort of the Water Tribe, they weren't so familiar with me because I've only seen it that once
Yep.
at the cinema. So I did think I probably should have refreshed my memory on it and watched it again before going in. But that's the only other thing with Avatar films, with them being so long, you do have to commit time to watch them.
It's more of a task to want to rewatch it.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't really have that sort of replayability
not
sort of
easy.
thing or rewatch. Yeah. So yeah, at parts I found it a bit long and repetitive. I said to Stephen when you have the guy trying to get the I don't know what they call it, but the liquid from like the whales,
Yep.
the stuff that they want to sell that's worth a lot of money or can cure. I don't know if they say it can cure cancer or cure certain things.
Stops aging.
Oh yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
and I was like, did we not have all of this in the second film? And they still going down this story like that? Is this still the flow? I thought we was finished with that, and that's where I was like trying to remind myself what happened in the second film. So I was like, maybe it didn't end. I thought they like ended that, and then it was going to go down a different route. So when all of that was happening again, I was like, I swear I've seen this before. Maybe I should have predicted what was going to happen in Avatar. But yeah, I just felt like a lot of it was repetitive to me and didn't actually add anything new to the whole overall story. And then also with the commander guy, I can't remember his name now. But
Quaritch.
what's his name?
Quaritch, the guy from Don't Breathe.
Yeah,
Yeah, Quaritch.
Yeah, Stephen Lang's character.
Yes, yeah. So I felt like, and again, obviously, I can't say with 100% certainty because I feel like I need to watch the film again when I'm fully awake. But I felt like he was switching sides so many times in terms of, was he working with Jake? He's then all of a sudden with the Ash people. Like
Yeah, I
every
think
time I
you've I
woke up,
think
I
you've
was like,
missed some bits there. I think because I can see why you'd
maybe.
think that, but I'll go into my thoughts obviously later. But to me, they flirted with the idea of him switching sides and hinted at it
Yeah,
and never did it. So I see why you think
okay.
that, but and if you fell
But
asleep, you
wasn't
might
there
have missed.
one bit when he was with Jake though, trying to
Yeah,
like do something?
because the Ash people had his son,
Yeah.
so he
Yeah,
and Jake was the only one who knew how to get to them. He could track them down, so he was like, "I'm
yes,
going to work with you to get them." But it
yeah,
was like
yeah.
one of those the typical thing that they do in all these films, like
It,
just because we're working together doesn't
Okay.
mean we're friends now, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
it's interesting though, actually, that you pick. I'll wait to get to my thoughts, but it's interesting that you picked it up in that sort of clear way. But anyway.
Yeah, so overall, I didn't enjoy this film as much as the other two, but like I said, I feel like I need to watch it again to maybe fill in some of those blanks that I might have missed. My own fault. I shouldn't have went to a 10 o'clock screening that finished at 2 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I felt fine. Thought I was going to manage it, but yeah, obviously not. So my rating for this film, and I don't know if I've rated the other ones. Probably haven't because they were obviously years ago and haven't rewatched them, but they would have been like high eights, nines, potentially tens. But yeah, this one I'm giving a 6 out of 10 based on my experience of it so far. And
Wow.
I feel like that's a key thing.
See, the thing is, I'm worried about Stephen's going to go lower. Stephen, what did you think of Avatar: Fire and Ash?
Stephen was
Okay.
awake watching this.
So I didn't fall asleep throughout the entirety of the film, so I did watch all of it, and I I've said before, I loved Avatar: Way of Water. I saw it in 2D and in 3D, and although there were bits that I don't quite remember, because I agree with Andy that I should have really gone back and saw it near the time, but I remembered where we were at the end of Avatar: Way of Water, and as I was watching Fire and Ash, I was sort of filling in the blanks and kind of getting up to speed with what was going on. I still maintain that I think Avatar: Way of Water is a much better film than Avatar. So like Avatar would have given, if we were like reviewing it, like a solid sort of 8.5. Avatar: Way of Water for me is a 10. It's an amazing piece of work from start to end. So I kind of went into this one thinking that it was going to be sort of a continuation of what we'd already seen. Again, I'll start with the positives. On a general level, though, I didn't enjoy the film either, and I have problems with Avatar: Fire and Ash that trouble me quite deeply, and even more deeply the more I think about it. As I said, I'll start with the positives. The movie itself looks absolutely gorgeous. There's no question that when you enter Pandora, you're in an actual experience. Sort of, it's a world building place. Pandora just takes the breath away, and I actually think it looks even more stunning than what it did 3 years ago, and it was pushing the boundaries of what was plausible to do in terms of technology. And just, I don't know if you felt this, like both of you when you were watching it, that it just looks utterly gorgeous. I was speaking to our friend James, who said that when he was watched it, it reminded him of the Avatar video game, The Frontiers of Pandora. And I got that vibe as well, that one of the early sequences is kind of flying around and exploring, and it kind of cast me back that I need to go back and play that. But there's no question that it looks absolutely brilliant. Performance is brilliant, and like what James Cameron is doing, it's all super, super impressive. But my issue is that because it is far, far too long. And I've always defended people that have come to me and said Avatar is too long. I think it's a kind of experience where you're forgetting about that. Like, you shouldn't even think about the length because you're in the world of Pandora. You know, you've got the exploration, you've got the tribes coming together, and then in the third act, you've got that massive battle. So I never found it a problem in 1 or 2, but this to me just felt painfully, painfully long. And I think part of that is because I just feel like Avatar Fire and Ash is literally the exact same film as Avatar The Way of Water, with the exception of being introduced to a new tribe. The Ash people are cool, and the leader of the Ash people is really, really awesome. But I don't actually think we get enough of that, personally. We get fragments of that. You know, we get the Colonel with being the love interest, which I'll get onto the Colonel as well because I'm equally annoyed by that set piece. But I just felt that after The Way of Water, we were going to get something completely different with with Fire and Ash, and that was going to be the center point. And it just felt, particularly in the third act, that it was just exactly what they did in the third act of The Way of Water. Yeah, they're on the boats, they're trying to take things down. I even said to Ali, I was like, that main guy who is leading to try and get the liquid, I swear, and this is not a spoiler, I swear he died at the end of Way of Water. When I spoke to
which you can see in there.
yeah, which I then, when I spoke to my friend about it, but I was like, but it's basically just the same. I know I'm not going to say what happens to him in Fire and Ash, but like, it just felt sort of that there was nothing different in that third act. Like, there was no real fire. It was getting the water, and it was just a continuation battle that just felt like it wasn't really going anywhere. Sort of, I said at the time, like, the third act of Avatar: Way of Water was like James Cameron taking a bit from Aliens, a bit from Titanic, and meshing them together. And he did basically the same again for Fire and Ash. I don't know if that's me being really harsh, but I just felt that this third film hasn't really progressed the story any further apart from the introduction of the Ash people and what it is doing for the human side, because obviously that's where we're leading to, that the humans are going to find a way of being able to breathe on Pandora, and a massive sort of civil war and battle. That's where I think we're going to get to by the end of Avatar 5. But the fact that we've got another one even before we get there, which is going to be another 3 hours, 30 minutes, like, they've got to, for me, go in a completely new direction, because, as I said, I just felt that it didn't really offer anything more apart from seeing the Ash people, which, again, I don't think we utilised well enough throughout the course of the movie. I just, like, the second act where you've got Jake and, what's the girl's name again? Did you say?
Natari.
Natari. That whole sequence with Jake and Natari, with Spider, and the fact that they want to basically, kind of say, see you later, that just goes on for way too long. We spent about 25 minutes in that, and it just felt that, like, this is not going anywhere, because it starts quickly, there's lots of action set pieces, but it just doesn't feel like it goes anywhere. And I don't know whether, again, is it just because I hadn't seen Way of Water for a number of years, and I'm curious to see that by you watched it recently, have you got a different experience, or if you feel that the story has gone so much more further forward. But I generally, like, as I said, seeing the Ash Clan was fun, but that was about it. Like, the Colonel's motives, right? I get what you're saying in terms of the fact that he did that because Spider, his son, was at risk of being hurt, and obviously Jake is the only one that can get close to him. But then he jumps from that to being the love interest of the Ash people, and then he still wants to try and take Jake Sully down, but then he doesn't. And I feel like, I just don't think it was written very well. For me,
he always wants to take Jake Sully down.
I know, but I just think it wasn't delivered in a clear way, because I was really, like, trying to understand what his motives were in the film. Where in The Way of Water, it's clear. In the first Avatar, it's clear. And I just don't feel it's very clear in this third film. And that's why when you explained it, I was like, I can see that, and that would have been fine, but that's not how it was projected in the movie. But maybe the caveat to that is because I was getting frustrated with the length and finding it boring and just basically a rehash of Avatar: The Way of Water. Maybe I wasn't as engaged in that. As I said, that whole third act was good if I'd not already seen it before. Whereas the third act of Avatar 1 and the third act of Avatar: Way of Water are very, very different in terms of how they do that. For me, it was just the same. There was no different thing that I got from that. So yeah, it had some good pieces. It looks stunning, but it's just not enough to sustain the running time. So it is a major, major letdown. The only, again, further caveat to this is that if in Avatar 4, similar to like 28 years later with the Bone Temple, like, if the Bone Temple's amazing, it might then make up for how bad the first one is, and the trailer actually is making me more and more excited for the Bone Temple and the fact that it's now an 18. But that's besides the point. I hope that maybe Avatar 4 will make this have a lot more sense to it. But as it on its own, it's the weakest out of the 3 Avatar movies, and it's making me think to myself that why are we getting 2 more of these? Like for me, the next one
Might not
should
be.
be the last one.
If it
Pending.
doesn't do well enough,
I
it's
know
not
they
going to. But
it's going to do well enough though. It's already like hit the sort of 400 million pound mark
I
in the
think you'll need to
weekend.
make them $1.5 billion for them to be like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, fine, we'll do it.
Yeah. But and as I said, if the next one sort of maybe it's a case rather than having 5 movies, have 4. Because then maybe if Avatar 4 goes in a new direction and sets up and takes us to the next part of the story, then you go to the last one, which is that massive battle that I feel like I'm predicting that's where we're getting to. As again, I just don't think it served much purpose. Like I'm curious to see for you to sort of challenge that watch because I feel like you probably enjoyed it way more than both me and Andy. But yeah, it was much less. I said to Andy before that if it's really good, I'll probably go back to watch it again, but this time in 3D. And I'm going to be straight with you, that is not happening. I'm not putting myself through Avatar Fire and Ash again. I may go back and revisit Wave of Water though.
Score out of 10?
5 out of 10.
Oh. Wow.
Dun,
So
dun,
hang
dun.
on.
He's gonna get up.
You're telling me that this is on par with Craven?
I gave Craven a 5.
Yes.
Okay, no,
He's
that's
really
too
thinking he
harsh.
should take Craven lower.
I'm going to challenge you
Give
as well,
Craven
Andy.
now.
Yeah, drop
I'm gonna
Craven.
This
I'm
is
gonna
on
give-
par,
I'm gonna give-
Andy, with Craven. You gave Craven a 6.
What for me? I might rate Craven higher.
Okay, Joe, what? I will go 6.5, Welchy. I can't put it on the same level as Craven. No way. It's not as bad as that.
6.5 you gave
Six.
to the Quake.
Yeah. Actually, I think that's more fair because it should be a 9.5 kind of movie. That's what it should be. And as I said, my main gripe is that and you're talking to someone. I watched Kill Bill the whole bloody affair at 5 hours. I saw The Brutalist at 4 hours. I have no issue with length. I
Yeah.
think that's absolutely clear to say. But it's got to have something. And to me, this was just like, well, the Way of Water worked really well. Just kind of do that again and introduce a new clan, and that can sustain chapter 3. And it's like, no, like do something a bit better. I actually also think it just wasn't very well written. It's the first Avatar film that I picked holes in the plot and some of the dialogue. It just was a bit of a stinker based on the high levels that I hold it.
Andy, the more I look at your scores, the more it pisses me off. You gave Venom 3 a 6. Venom 3.
Oh, I liked
Ugh.
Venom movie.
What a
That's 'cause you
fucking
hate the Venom movie.
disaster of a movie that was.
Whoa.
As people can probably tell, I love this movie.
Yeah.
As in Avatar Fire and Ash. I'll try and talk as much as I can about dying. What I will say though, it's the worst of the 3.
Yes.
I will put
Yeah.
that out there. It is
Least
my
favourite of that.
least favorite of the 3. And I have very good reasons for that. It could have been the second best. It was like I don't think it was going to reach Avatar for me, and I'll get into that. But the biggest problem is it's too similar to Way of Water.
Yes.
Having watched it literally last week, that helps and it hinders it at the same time. It helps because I know everything. I know everyone. I know where the story was. I know everything that happened. So when things happen, I feel it more. I understand it more. The negative is I know exactly how that film went. So when things happen in this film, I'm like, we're doing this again.
Yes.
So
Okay.
that is probably the biggest downside.
Do you think that's a fair what I was saying about the fact that it just for the length of it that it was and that it literally just was pretty much Avatar Way of Water again?
It was, but there's enough difference for me to validate the film to be it's worth
Right.
time. I'm not saying this is a waste of time because it's exactly the same. There's differences. You've got Natari going through her grief, which I think is really well done.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of this film is sorry, I do know what I'm going to say. It's just I'm focusing on my voice. Is Loak. Loak is their son. It's the remaining son. His growth and arc, I fucking love it. So, and you've got to remember, you have to remember, this is one story. He wrote this as one, and split it in 2. And Loak's growth from the beginning of the first one or second one, whatever, to this one, and his what's the name of his brother? Pakian, the white. Let's call
Oh
it. Let's
yeah,
just call
yeah,
him whales for now.
yeah,
The Pakian. Pakian was the name of the whale. His relationship with him, how he was able to convince everyone. Okay, spoilers are now open because I have to talk about spoilers to talk about why I like this film. So spoilers are open from
Okay.
now because otherwise I'm going to say shit. So if you don't want to hear anything, I'll tell you my score now. It is a 8.5 out of 10.
Whoa.
So yeah, spoilers from now. The way Loak is able to bring Pakian and all the other whales to this big meeting, which I thought was fucking incredible, when they had those massive matriarch whales with the nose rings.
yeah.
And someone who is not a water tribesman, but he is able to convince them all to fight these creatures that haven't fought for years because it's not part of their culture. They're not. Even the humans were like, these things are not dangerous. They don't attack. This is why they're so easy to get, because they never attack.
Yeah.
Loved all that. I loved how Loak was able to do that. How Loak was trying to prove to his dad that he is worthy, and that it wasn't his fault. That even though he kind of blamed himself, he also kind of wanted to prove to his dad that it wasn't his fault that his brother died. This is a real struggle. So I loved the Loak stuff. I thought that was great. The other negative is this film doesn't have the same. We will get there. This film doesn't have the same emotional punch as Way of Water. Way of Water obviously has a big emotional punch at the end. It deals with that in this film through grief and whatnot. But obviously, you have such a punch in that film that you don't have the same in this one. It just leaves you feeling differently.
Yeah.
I loved, and I wish we saw more of the flying tradespeople, those massive ships.
Oh yeah, they're barely in it really.
I loved the look of them. I thought that was really cool, and I thought we was going to go from there to this new people, which we do. The Ash people come and attack. I think the Ash people are great. Varang is fantastic as a villain. Again, major spoiler here, but I'm glad she's not dead. I'm glad that she's around for potential sequels, because I think she's fantastic. I got to take a breath. What I hate about this film, I fucking hate it, is Quaritch. Not what you say, Stephen. I'll get to your points. I cannot believe they didn't kill him off. They again left it open to interpret. Is he dead? Is he not? Just
I agree.
fucking make your mind up. This is 3 times now. Like you killed him in the first one. He's back in the second. I've let it off because you've got your reasons. In the second one, he's so close to death, and his son saves him. I'm like, oh, fucking okay.
But
in this one, he's falling to his death, and they don't show it, so you know he's coming back for the fucking fourth one.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that also annoys me, that like with Way of Water, the way that packs an emotional punch at the end, you sit there and you think, well, there's no jeopardy. We spoke about it earlier with the Avengers.
Well, there
trailer.
is, because that brother did die.
Yeah, he did. But then if this is a case of like the Colonel again, like that's 3 times now. And I agree, it just makes a bit of a mockery. And also my issue is move on from him. Like we're approaching this massive battle, right? There needs to be something further ahead. Like again, you're just recycling the same thing that you've done multiple times. That's before all the other bits of his.
What I will say though is he is fucking amazing. I think he's an amazing actor, and I think he does the role amazingly. He's brilliant.
Yeah, he is. He's brilliant. But I've not got any issues with him.
I agree. Next time he's in the next film, I'm going to be like, oh, here we go again. And then at the end, something happens to him. I'll be like, I don't believe you. He's back for 5. I know he's back for 5. Even if they say this is the last Avatar film, I'll be like, I don't believe he's dead. He's going to come back. He'll pop up in fucking Pinocchio or something. That pissed me off. But what I love about Quaritch is what you don't like about him, Stephen. Because you're saying the whole... In the first and second film, he's gone in for Jake Sully, blah, blah, blah. And in this one, like, he's flip-flopping. I think that's the point. I think, and this is why they left him open, I do think that Quaritch is going to convert. I think he is going to fall into the tribe with Varang or even Sully. I think he will eventually become and have like fall into the Avatar lifestyle and want to be and support the
Yeah.
Avatars.
Okay.
I think that's where it's going. Obviously, his son can now breathe the air, which helps. He
Yeah.
can't really.
Yeah.
He can take him home, I guess, because he could probably breathe oxygen as well, like Earth air. I
Yeah.
assume. I don't know. I think so because they take him into that place. Anyway, but he could now essentially live there with his son, like easily, without any mask and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they're going, and I like that they kept hinting at it. Like it was like the first time when he's doing it with Jake. They find the son. They stop for a while to like calm down, and they're like, "What do we do now? Do we fight?" And he's like, "Let's save our energy in case they come back." And then when Jake's people come, he runs off. So it's like,
Yeah.
you're like, he was thinking about it. He was thinking about staying, like relaxing and calming down, but then he's bottled it. And then that last scene where Jake saves him, essentially, you're thinking, this is it. This is the moment. He's going to convert. And he still doesn't. I get the whole flip-flopping thing, but I think it's going to pay off long term. I wish it paid off in this film. I wish he would have
Yeah.
converted in this film personally, and I wish they could have wrapped that up. And a good way of doing it was he converted. He starts helping Jake. He goes against the humans, and then dies. You then start to
Yeah,
think,
that'd be good.
I was
Yeah,
starting to
yeah.
feel good for you, and now you're dying. Now I'm actually quite sad with it. You know what I mean?
That's
Like they could have.
Yeah.
That would have been a
That would've
good
made
angle
sense.
for me. I think we'll still get that, but I think we'll get that in 4 or 5, and I think his son will be sad because he's finally got a dad. Blah 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 blah. I think we're gonna get all of
Yeah.
these things. I just wish it happened now.
I just also
Yeah.
think that when I look at it, I get what they were trying to do. I just think it could have been done better. I just think the way of the storytelling, it to me, and again, this is just my interpretation of it. And I think Andy kind of was on the same page that it just wasn't done clearly in terms of that. I wish they had kind of had more scenes of him maybe talking about that. I know that's your interpretation, but then that to me wasn't clear because it was such a difference from what we'd seen in the first 2 movies.
You're right. He doesn't talk
Now,
about it, but there's signs like when he comes back into that room with all the people and he's got all the paint on him.
sure,
It's like he's
yeah.
getting into that tribe-like mentality, and he likes that Varang clearly.
I also thought
He's
that he
just
did
getting
that
into
just
that.
because he was doing it because he was banging Varane. That's also what I thought. I
Yes,
was like,
but
you're
he was banging Varang, then he went outside with them and drank with them. He was
Yeah.
getting in. To me, that was him getting into the mode. And every time Jake
Yeah.
said, "There's so much to this world, you just need to connect to it," blah blah. Like put your hair penis into the
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
whatever it is.
I just think that he's such a strong character.
It's a hair penis.
I
That's
think
what it
he's
is.
yeah, no, it is. I just think he's such a strong character that I found it just bizarre that like the lead of the Astro could make him do a 180 just like that. I just thought it was very out of
She probably
character
did it to
for
me as
him.
well. He was.
But-
I've never been so attached to a blue person before.
I mean, yeah, good point. But that's not his kind of character. Like, if it's me, yeah, sure. Like, you just blink at me and I'll be part of your tribe, love. But not him. He's very set in his ways. He's very strong, and also he's wanted to have that appraisal from the human sort of
Yeah.
soldier on that massive ship as well. And I get there's character development and trajectory, and I can see exactly what you're saying. I just don't think it was written well enough for it to be executed like that, even with the signs, because I just think that it was just something I didn't expect from it before. It might pay off in the
I
next
think it's
film.
because it's a longer term play. I think that's the
Yeah.
reason why you're probably frustrated with it. And I would have rather it happened now. Like I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
said, I think they could have done that in
Yeah, I
a very
agree.
cool way.
Yeah,
But he's obviously written all 5 films. He knows what he wants to do, and I'm sure it will pay off.
yeah,
What I will say, and one of the main reasons this is the worst of the 3, is my favorite part of Avatar as a franchise, as a place, whatever, is the feeling of wonder and awe and just wanting to be in Pandora.
yes,
I feel like this movie does it the worst of the 3. That's not because
Yes.
there's Ash people like making it seem worse. It's not because there's a massive war at the end. There's just not much new. So obviously Pandora
Yeah,
1,
they don't
everything's
explore more.
new. In number 2,
yeah,
not everything's new because we know Pandora, but they introduce this whole other tribe with these all new creatures, and it feels like another thing, another place.
they
And then
explore they explore the ocean, so it's in
yeah,
ship there,
it's a
but like
whole
you
new
see
thing.
all of
And
the
again, you're
different
like,
stuff
oh, I
about
love the
them
tree
learning the
side,
way of
but
the
now I
world.
love this side.
Yes,
And I thought
yeah,
Fire and Ash would have been a bit more
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I thought.
I knew it'd be a new
Yeah.
tribe, and I guess it makes sense that Fire and Ash doesn't sound like a nice tribe, does it? But for me, this film does that kind of awe-inspiring thing the worst. And even though it's still good, I'm not saying it's not good. There were still moments I was like, wow, like when those massive ships come, like I said, and the massive whales and whatnot, all amazing stuff. Avatar 1 does it the best. And it's not just because everything's new. It's because it also focuses on the idea of escapism with with Jake Sully's character, or Sam Worthington. So obviously the whole point of Avatar originally was you go into a pod and you can become an avatar, and you can escape from your world. And it works really well in that film because Jake Sully is a disabled man. He is someone who can't walk. So him going into this pod, all of a sudden being able to walk as this massive 10-foot creature.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And you see the world and it's like, oh my God, this is fucking amazing. The dragons and everything like that. All amazing. And then you felt what he felt when he come out of that and got out of the pod, and he was like, oh, I'm back to I can't walk again. And at the end of the film, when he's like, I want to be there, you're like, okay, yes, you want to be there because you fell in love with this avatar, but also you fell in love with that life because your life, you've escaped from your previous life. And the whole thing was just perfectly done in my mind.
Yeah.
And this film just has that the least. They teased with it, with obviously Quaritch starting to think it. Again, I kind of agree they could have done it more. But yeah, this film was more about the story and the war and all that stuff rather than the wonder of the world, which I get that's where we're going to have to go down because you can't think of a million, unlimited amount of things. But I don't know. I just left thinking, great film, loved it. I'm feeling being negative, loved it. But I just didn't come away with the same. When I left Avatar 1 screening, it was like, wow, what the fuck have I just watched? And Way of Water, I ended up watching home, but I remember just watching like, wow, this is amazing. I just didn't get that same feeling in that.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely like such a perfect sort of overview of the Avatar franchise, and I echo absolutely every single thing that you have said about that. And I think that's also why length has never bothered me.
Yes,
because
you're
you're part of the
immersed.
world of Pandora, and you don't even think about that. And I felt that when I went to the Avatar when that came out in cinema, and with Way of Water, I was like, wow, they've taken the aspects of Avatar 1, they've magnified it, multiplied it, and you're just in awe. I didn't walk out of this film in awe. And also I picked holes in the plot, the story, just generally sort of. I don't think that you can have a 3 hour, 20-minute movie with a couple of set pieces. And like I said, I think if they take away the water aspect, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. When I thought Fire and Ash, I thought, right, because Pandora's fucking got gargantuan in size, right? We're going to see something with the Fire and Ash people that is going to be something completely different. So you're going to think of, fighting with those elements and high up in the trees. I know we get aspects of that, but we still revert back to a massive battle in the waters of Pandora. And that to me, I think over the last couple of days, that's been the biggest gripe that I've had with it, that you've got this amazing world. And again, this would have been a perfect movie for me to show another aspect of Pandora that we've not seen. So then we get to 4 and 5, okay, preparing for final battle, and now we're in final battle. That to me would have been a better use of this film rather than what they managed to do, which I don't think is unfair to say. I think that is a very reasonable criticism.
The third act
of it.
The final war, or whatever you want to call it, is very close to the last film. The main difference is the Ash people come and make it harder for them. But even like it's literally what happens. Quaritch, and now this time Varang's with him, kidnaps one of Jake Sully's kids, puts him on the ship, and they've all got to go and get the kid, and it all goes wrong. And it's like this is exactly the fucking same. In slight differences. This time they're not trapped under the water like they did in the second one, which I thought was cool.
No.
It's just there are differences. Don't get me wrong, there are differences, but it's when you look at it as a high level, it's the same plot points. And
It's also there's a bit in that third act where it gets like cut it to black where he gets then transported by the creatures and then goes on to the second bit where the colonel essentially falls off, right? And in my thinking, oh, they're actually going to end it on a cliffhanger. And I was like, oh no, we've got another like 30, 40 minutes of the exact same thing that we've just spent 40 minutes watching. Like that third act goes on for, I would say, a good hour and a half in total.
I
And
did
it
love it
felt
though.
like double the
Even
time.
though it's the same, I did love it, and I loved the epicness of the whales coming out and fighting for the
That was
for
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pandora.
that was cool.
When the ash people came down, I was like, this is sick. The Varang's dragon, by the way, was sick. And I'm really happy we saw Jake Sully become the Torok Makto
Oh, the
again with the massive
yeah,
dragon. I was like, yeah, this is the shit I need. Let's say something more of this.
Yeah.
So I did love it all. I don't want to sound too negative, but it is very similar. But what this film does much better than Way of Water, I think I said last week I didn't like the first part of Way of Water.
yeah. This
The,
from
the intro to
too.
this was great. Like when they
Yeah,
go
yeah.
on the trades boat, like this all makes sense. They need to get sorry. And then when the Ash people come and attacked it, I was like, this is fucking sick. They had the jeopardy of Loak didn't have his comms, so they couldn't talk to him. So you're like, oh no, this is all going to go wrong and they're all going to go missing.
Yeah.
You had Natari who got shot in the shoulder. It's like, fuck, what the fuck is going to happen here? It was all just, I was loving it. And then I loved it. And then the third act, I was just like, oh, this is the same. Like, we was doing so well,
Yeah.
but this is the same. So I think this could
Yeah.
have been a very high score for me. 8.5 is a great score. But when I look at that third act, I do think it's just too similar. And I get that you did it as one
It's
script
great, so.
originally and cut it in half, but then I was thinking, so your middle of your script is the same as your end of your script? Like, how have we got to this point?
Yeah.
I think it's great, but it's just not the best. We are running out of time. We've got to do another podcast, and I'm very worried that we're going to run very late. I do want to get any final thoughts, but first, we do have someone who wrote in to give their thoughts on this movie, and that is JJ Rose, your good friend. He wrote in saying, and I'll pause. I watched this film in 3D, which none of us did. I didn't watch it in 3D either. At the Dolby Atmos screen in Leicester Square. So basically, you can't watch it any better in England. Yeah, sorry, fuck me. And it was stunning. Visually, I don't think any current CGI comes close to it. I need to come back to that point. The film was action-packed, and the 3 hours and 20 minutes flew by. I enjoyed the scenes with the new Fire Tribe who were introduced. Story-wise, I think James Cameron is building up to something bigger for the final films, as nothing major happens. But it's a really enjoyable watch, and I'm looking forward to the next installment. I'm confident Quaritch will have his redemption arc. Sorry. By turning on the humans in the next film and uniting the Fire Tribe with the other tribes. Watching it has also made me want to revisit Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. It gets an 8 out of 10 from me. 2 points I want to go on to that. I mentioned last week I really want to play Avatar after watching A Way of Water. Watching it at Fire and Ash was like, I have to play that fucking game.
Yeah.
Also on that point, I agree the CGI is very fucking good. But there's something wrong with it as well. There's like a frame rate issue or something. Because a lot of the time I was watching it thinking, am I watching fucking video game cutscenes? Like, there were some points where I was like, this doesn't look right to me. And it was more the
Really?
characters. The way they moved, like sometimes the frame rate was like iffy. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like I'm watching a game here. Like this,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the first, I don't get me wrong, a game wouldn't look that good. But I was just looking at it thinking, I never noticed this before in the first two.
I can't commit too much because of my whole experience with it, but I don't know if it was reviews I was reading or if I saw an article, but I did see someone mention that exact same thing as you, Welchy. So
It might be my
it wasn't
review.
just
I
a you
wrote it
thing.
on my review on Letterboxd.
No, I didn't read that. But yeah, so I either read that in someone else's review,
Yeah.
maybe on Letterboxd, or there was literally an article about it. So yeah, I don't think that's a
See,
you issue.
I mean, I can't say that entered my mind. Apart from the fact that it reminded me that at some point next year I need to also play.
Yeah.
I've only played like an hour or so of Avatar Frontiers Pandora, but yeah, it's and obviously now having the PS5 Pro, that's going to look even sharper than when I played it on PS5. So yeah, it's one on my list for next year. It's just really long. It's a really long game, and you've got to get everything upgraded before you're able to tackle the story. So
Everything but
Well,
Avatar's
those commitment
long.
ones.
If you're not in for the
Yeah.
long,
Yeah.
not worth it.
Yeah,
You should let me
pretty,
find
pretty much.
We do need to wrap up so we can do another podcast quickly. But are there any final thoughts before we do?
No, like I said, I think I need to watch it again properly to give my sort of full thoughts on it. But based on what I think that both of you have said, I feel like my experience of it won't change too much in terms of I thought it was too similar to A Way of Water. I feel like they should have switched this up a bit more and had a bit more. I said to Stephen, like, it would have been cool if we saw some sort of volcano sort of area where the
Well,
Fire and Ash
they
people,
they
like,
showed a glimpse of it, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
yeah,
And that was it.
yeah, we got more of that. Like,
Yeah.
it was too much more. It was too more of like the water tribe and sort of water fight scenes where I feel like they could have, as soon as it's called Fire and Ash, and maybe changed the name of it so that's not as confusing. Because
That's what I thought.
as soon as they called it Fire and Ash, that sort of leads us to think that it's going to be based in a new sort of environment with the Fire and Ash people. So perhaps call it something else and then just introduce the Fire and Ash tribe to it, and then we don't have that sort of conflict with it. But yeah, it's just way too similar. But hopefully, the next film sort of adds more to the story and packs a more emotional punch again. But yeah, I'll stick to my thoughts and my rating for now.
Anything from you, Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I won't change too much either. And I think what's interesting is a lot of the positive that you said, which I completely echo and agree with. But I think my gripes with it
Yeah.
kind of take away all of that. And I think the main thing for me is that Avatar 4, which will be made, there's no question about it, may make up for those issues that I have with this one. But as I said, I just think it could have been a much better written film and could have offered a lot more than what we actually got. But again, it's similar to when you've got a long arc like this, like I said, 28 years later, I'm going into it now with more optimism, thinking that it's going to make up for everything shit about number one and actually be really good for part two, and hope maybe Avatar will have the same sort of effect. And yeah, I'm happy with 6.5 because I think 5 is way too harsh. So 6.5. It's only 2 ratings away from what you said and 1.5 ratings away from what James said as well. So it's not terrible.
Yeah, I think my final thought, and we haven't been able to go through different scenes and massive spoiler points because it took 14 minutes of us just passionately talking about why we do or do not like this film. So hopefully that came across that we are passionate in each of our own ways. But I'm not sure I like Spider as a character.
Really?
I don't want
I
to
would agree
disrespect
with
the
that.
actor. I don't think it's him. Unfortunately, he's pivotal, and he's going to be pivotal because he can now breathe.
Yeah.
And like they said, they're going to keep coming for him because they need to find out how he's breathing. So
What
he's going to be there for the long run, and
the
I
see?
just don't know if I like his character.
Do you know where? Do you know where it reminds me? It reminds me of someone from Spy Kids. I don't know who or why, but when I see his character, he just seems out of place in that whole world.
And that's the point. It's
yeah,
meant to be that kind of like, what's the word?
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't think of the word
What?
I
right
don't know.
now, but
I might actually say it might be the actor in this situation. I don't
I
usually
hope
like
not. But
saying
yeah,
that,
I don't like to
but
say it. I don't know
yeah,
other films to say otherwise. But
I also really liked one bit with Spider was that he shared the kiss with Sigourney Weaver's
you like that?
Avatar character. No, not when I say I like the fact that there's that love interest that she's basically helped him to not breathe because she
Yes.
sees him more as part of the family. Like that love interest side plot was quite
It's
nicely done.
essentially a stepbrother, though.
I did also think that. I was thinking it's quite nicely done, but is it like Avatar incest going on here? Because technically he's
There's no
part
blood
of the
relation.
family.
That's obvious.
No.
I mean, stepbrothers will rage at the minute on the old website. So, but anyway, hopefully everyone has enjoyed our review. I'm sure we'll be talking about it for years to come as the next one gets announced and whatnot, and we'll be talking about it for the next few weeks when we hear one next week about their sales numbers and whatnot. But for now, that is going to be it for the Late Night Movie Podcast. Let us know what you thought of Avatar, Fire and Ash. Do you think it's the best in the trilogy? Drop your thoughts in the comments or tag us on socials at the Late Night Pods. We'd love to hear your thoughts. You can also join our Discord using the link in the description, which now works, so you can get your thoughts in before the episodes. If you enjoyed the episode, please make sure to follow and subscribe wherever you are listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next episode. Speaking of which, next time we have our final episode of 2025, where we will be crowning the champion of our Rotten Tomatoes game. And someone looks very smug in the video right now. You won't want to miss that
We're not going
one.
to do that episode now.
Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I've been your host, Welchy, and my co-hosts have been Andy.
Yeah, thank you as always, guys. And yeah, apologies for falling asleep watching Avatar. I'll try not to go to a 10 p.m. showing for where I film next time.
And the 2025 movie quiz champion, Stephen.
The words were out of my mouth. And yeah, it's been a pleasure as always. And yeah, be interested to see what you guys think about Avatar. And looking forward to the last movie podcast of the year. I'm not though, actually.
Thank you all for listening and see you next time.